Greetings, I am still the Wizard of What, and this is still the Fortress of Bileberry. Now that we're into the caves proper, I can set out some temporary arrangements just to get things organized and get ready to start getting stuff done down here. This body of water here is really convenient too, especially if I want to do some irrigation. Since I can just throw down farms wherever I want in the cavern, as long as it's not an area I've mined out, I'm going to do so, and that way I will have food and booze, at least for the dwarves I have right now. I'm getting rid of these stockpiles I made since I have a new big one down all the way underground. I don't want to have my dwarves running around between all these stockpiles. Let's see, and I have these two horses that were pulling my wagon that I got for free, so hopefully they're not the same gender. And dang it, they are in fact both male horses. So no horse farming for me. Since I have access to this area, I'm going to go ahead and designate some of these trees and plants to be chopped and collected, respectively. I do want to continue mining downward, though. I definitely would like to find some magma so I can get magma smelters and forges going. Well, I fumble with the stairs because I accidentally hit a button that messes with the designation, and I didn't notice. Let's talk caverns. Caverns will usually appear around 10 Z levels below the surface and will span multiple layers themselves. They'll also have water in them, anywhere from some small pools at the bottom to basically just being underground oceans. There will also be multiple caverns generally, and they may or may not be connected, but caverns will almost always be connected to the edge of the map, which means that things can come in on the cavern level, which makes them slightly dangerous, but more so because of what lives in the caverns rather than them being connected to the edges of the map. One really nice thing about bringing all these dwarves with military skills is that once I get some migrant waves and I can replace the laborers, more or less, I will have a very well-off squad that just out of the gate will be generally competent, and they can just train from there rather than trying to train up 10 dwarves from 2 with like middling to average skills, which is what I would normally do in a safer biome anyway. Oh god, it's ease! What strange and horrible beasts be these? They are elk birds, so once again we've gotten lucky and something that is not necessarily dangerous has spawned. Elk birds are fairly large, so they're not completely harmless, but at the very least they're not hostile. For those who don't know, elk birds are large flightless birds with elk antlers. So that's fun. I would love to catch some for farming purposes at some point. For some reason, though, these elk birds seem very interested in getting to the other side of my little dwarf activity area, so they keep running up to it and seeing a dwarf and then backing off and repeating this process, which hopefully will not lead to anyone getting backed into a corner and deciding they want to fight, because that could end poorly. In all honesty, I'm not worried about them, though. So, just for now, since it's nearby, I'm going to set this water as my preferred water so the dwarves don't be dumb and run up to the surface if the brook ever thaws. This is one of the nice bonuses to being underground, though, is you don't have to worry about your water freezing. It continues to rain horrid filth, and all of these elk birds are getting all bunched up, trying to decide whether or not they want to go past my dwarves. That is kind of bizarre. I could always turn my military on and have them go kill the elk birds, but I don't particularly feel the need to risk dwarven injury for some elk bird meat. I am not desperate for food at this moment. Since the surface is so far away and the dwarves are taking so long to bring everything down here, it's kind of keeping my miner tied up. That's mostly what I'm waiting for right now, is to mine down and see if there's anything below where I currently am that I want to use for building or the fortress in general. Since the farms are done, I'm just assigning all of the basic stuff that I brought with a preference to plump helmets because they're great and you can make food and drink out of them, and they grow in every season, and they're basically miracle food for dwarves. Oh, what's that green stuff? Is that vomit? Ugh. Oh, it's a spattering of pus? Oh, it looks like the horrid filth gives you something that makes you leave behind pus. I hope Reg is alright. Well, let's see. Let's look them up here. Well, looking at their status, they don't seem to be suffering from any injuries. Seems like they're fine, but I think I'd still rather my dwarves not get horrid filthed and then leave pus about the fortress, if they can help it. So, to that end, I'm going to set up a door in the stairway down into the fortress that I can forbid so that I can force the doors to stay inside. Honestly, I probably should have done this sooner, as it seems like a pretty smart safety precaution, but, you know, this evil biome has not been throwing anything too horrific at us, so I've been continuing to be lured into a false sense of security. I'll just make it out of wood up here real quick, since that seems like it'll be the fastest. Unicorn. In all seriousness, unicorns are just large horses with horns in their head. They can stab you with the horns, but they're not really hostile or aggressive or anything. They're just kind of animals. I would like to catch some at some point, though, because their parts are worth pretty decent money. So, you know, unicorn farming would be profitable and also would just be sticking it to those elves. And if we're really lucky, we'll get undead and we'll be able to see the mystical zombie unicorn. That would sure make my day. Somehow an elk bird has gotten chased up my stairwell and is now running around on the surface. That is something else. Okay, and the door is going to go right here, and then we're going to make sure everybody's inside, and we're going to forbid passage so nobody can go up to the surface unless I let them. One really cool thing about being underground like this is that if you have dwarves gather plants, it's the same kind of plants that dwarves grow normally, like, you know, plump helmets, dimple cups, pigtails, stuff like that. And so that ends up being really convenient. For the moment, though, I'm waiting to see if there's any caverns below me and what they look like before I commit to putting the entrance to my fort somewhere. This cavern that we're kind of set up in is fairly close to the surface, so there should theoretically be more caverns below. Well, I guess I might as well get a little barracks set up, so I'll take out everyone except for the 2 good soldiers so that they can start training once I do that. Whoa! Got a message about a giant cave spider who is fighting my door. That is not good. It appears to be attempting murder in the middle of my stockpile, the cheeky thing. Well, have I got a surprise for you, Mr. Spider? Holy crap, they obliterated him instantaneously. Huh, well, I suppose that's what I get for bringing all these military dwarves. Well, we might as well take a little look at the combat log and see what my dwarves did to the thing. Oh dear, somebody got injected with venom. Luckily, cave spider venom is not lethal to dwarves, so that's nice. It is lethal to smaller animals, though. Good lord, he bit the spider in half! Oh my god! These dwarves are crazy! Dear God, well, don't mess with Ablel, apparently, because he's got a screw loose. Well, he certainly deserves a nice room in the future for that extreme, pest control, or extermination, or whatever you want to call it. Apparently, Ablel is about as unhappy about having an argument with someone as, biting a giant spider in half. You know, sometimes I forget why I love Dwarf Fortress so much, and then it reminds me. It looks like my expedition leader did get bitten in the neck when they got the venom injected into them, however. So this is as good as time as any to get a little hospital area set up, I suppose. They seem to be alright, though, and the giant cave spider venom does do some things negative, I believe, but it should not be a threat to Rovod's health, luckily. Righto, well, after all that excitement, I think that'll be it for this time. If you've been enjoying Bileberry, consider leaving a like, comment, or even subscribing to my channel. It'll help more people find my content, and I appreciate the feedback either way. So with that all said, I hope I see you next time.